Indiana Pacers head coach Rick Carlisle just revealed that Tyrese Haliburton has an extremely concerning back injury. And due to that, that may explain why Haliburton has not looked right to start the series. We're going to break down exactly what Rick Carlisle stated and so much more today. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button now. And make sure you have notifications turned on so you don't miss a second of the new content. And now, let's get started. Haliburton has a concerning back injury. When it rains, it pours for both teams. The Knicks just lost Mitchell Robinson for the rest of the season. They're already missing Julius Randle and Bojan Bogdanovic. One of the main reasons we traded for Bojan was for the postseason, for his shooting off the bench. Now we don't have it. So the Pacers, I know they're already dealing with injuries, but for them to be dealing with an injury to Tyrese Haliburton, that is significant for a number of reasons. Because if Haliburton is not 100%, even though he's likely going to play, that's going to mean very good things for the Knicks because they can likely dominate him, dominate that matchup, make sure he's ineffective again like he was in game 1, and make sure they take game 2 and go on the road up 2 games. Basically a death sentence for the Indiana Pacers. That's what we need to do. But Rick Carlisle, in a recent interview with the media, he spoke about his all-star guard in Tyrese Haliburton, and he revealed that Tyrese Haliburton was dealing with a significant back injury. Let's take a look at exactly what head coach of the Indiana Pacers, Rick Carlisle, said about Tyrese Haliburton. Shout out the Bleacher Report for giving us the following information. Pacers head coach, according to them, Tyrese Haliburton back injury, a concern, though he is expected to play game 2 against the Knicks. So we have to mention that at the very least. Even though he's injured, he's still going to give it a go. He's still going to perform. He's still going to go out there, and he's still going to try to be impactful for the Pacers. But if he does have issues with that back, he's likely going to be limited once again, and the Knicks are going to shut him down once again. So that means the other players on Indiana are going to have to step up and do something about it. And honestly, I don't think they can do that for another game, especially after they did it last game and got shut down and still beat. Even though they did everything they could off the bench, it still didn't matter. The Knicks still won the game. If anything, Indiana needed to take game 1. That was the game they needed to win, but they didn't get it. And now they must win game 2. And I don't think they can because I don't think their role players are going to be able to step up in the same way, especially with the Knicks team that's going to be even more well-prepared than they were last time to face them. Tom Thibodeau is going to have them extremely ready and prepared for the game. I absolutely believe that. But getting back to what Rick Carlisle stated about Tyrese Haliburton, according to Bleacher Report, Rick Carlisle is expecting Haliburton to suit up for game 2 of the team's playoff series with the Knicks, but he did acknowledge the health of the star guard is a concern. According to him, exactly. At this time of the year, everybody's got something going on, and he's working at it, doing everything he can to keep himself feeling as good as possible. I'm confident he'll play, but it's a concern. Listen, I'm not trying to say anything about the severity of his injury. I'm sure it's very severe, and he's dealing with a lot. But if I'm being very honest here, this sounds like a lot of the Sixers situation again, where they're saying, well, Embiid's questionable with this issue or that issue. And then he comes in, goes off for 35, 40, and then we're praising him for doing this even though he's injured. I feel like the same thing is being made of Tyrese Haliburton. But again, I don't know the extent of his back injury. What I can say is that it looks very familiar and it sounds very familiar, especially if you're a Knicks fan coming out of that Sixers series. I expect Haliburton to play a lot better than he did in game 1. But still, even though that's the case, I don't expect the role players that he had on Indiana to play the same way, to play as good. Maybe Miles Turner, but that's it. And if that's the case, the Knicks with Dante DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, and of course, our superstar in Jalen Brunson, you're not going to be able to stop them. You're not going to be able to stop Jalen. Jalen's going to go off. He's going to show you why and prove to you why. He is the point guard of the New York Knicks right now and in the future, and why he's heads and tails better than Tyrese Haliburton, why it's not even a conversation anymore, why Jalen Brunson has improved his game, leveled up his game to an extent that nobody thought he could, especially the NBA pundits that never thought that Haliburton and Jalen Brunson were the same level. If anything, they thought Haliburton was better than Jalen Brunson. That's a laughable statement at this point. Jalen Brunson clears Tyrese, and it's not even close. And during this series, he's not only going to prove why he's the better point guard, but why the Knicks are a better team, even though we're missing key, significant players for this roster. We have to put that in perspective and remember that. I understand Indiana's missing some players as well. Ben Mathurin is one of them. He's a key shooter for them, so I can understand that. The Knicks are missing Bojan. The Knicks are missing Randall. The Knicks are missing Mitchell Robinson. I don't want to hear about any injury concerns anymore. It's done. It's over with. You're injured. You're missing players. We are significantly injured, missing players each and every day, it seems like. So you know what? Boo-hoo, cry me a river, but I don't care about that anymore. You're missing people. We're missing people, but we're still going to show up. We're still going to play, and we're still going to get the win. And one of the main reasons I know that is because Tyrese Haliburton, I just don't have faith that he's going to show up. Not because he's not a good player, just because ever since he got injured during the middle of the regular season, he has not looked like the same player. That hamstring just does not look the same. Now, maybe you don't want to believe me. Maybe you think I'm a biased Knicks fan. I can understand that. I know a lot of Pacers fans have recently found this channel. You've been commenting and you've been watching the videos. I appreciate that. But check this out. We're looking at numbers here. And by the numbers, Haliburton, since that injury, has just looked atrocious. Shout out to Evan Cedardy for giving us the following information. He's on the app X if anybody wants to give him a follow. According to him, since suffering a lingering hamstring strain on January 9th, Tyrese Haliburton's scoring production and overall efficiency has fallen off a cliff. Pre-injury, 33 games. That's a very good sample size, by the way. 23.6 points, 12.5 assists, 40.3 three-point percentage, and 63.3 true shooting. That is crazy good. Post-injury, 43 games. Again, another great sample size. 16.5 points. What a fall off. 19.4 assists. Again, another drop off. 32% from three. My goodness, atrocious. And then the true shooting percentage, it's also gone down, 56.8%. Haliburton rushed back and played through it in order to hit the 65-game threshold for all NBA qualifying. Indiana's all-star point guard hasn't played close to this version everyone saw the first few months of the regular season. Numbers don't lie. He just does not look like the same player. And against the Knicks in game one, he was fearful to take shots. He was passing up open, good-looking shots. Shots he'd normally take. He wasn't taking those shots. It looked very worrisome. And thankfully, I'm not an Indiana fan, so I don't have to worry about it. But if I was an Indiana fan, I would be concerned. Your head coach is making statements saying that Tyrese Haliburton is not 100%. What that tells me is that if and when he has a bad game, all they'll do is they'll blame it. They'll focus on the fact that he's not 100% and he's dealing with back issues. And if he was 100%, he would be having a phenomenal game, a phenomenal series. I understand that. But everybody's dealing with something at this point of the season. We all know that. Indiana's head coach and Rick Carlisle basically said the same exact thing. So because that's the case, I don't want to hear the excuses. You're injured. We're injured. We're playing through injuries. I think we all forget. Jalen Brunson, last series, bang knees with Kyle Lowry. Nobody wants to mention that. He wasn't fully healthy. He wasn't 100%, but he played through it like everybody's doing right now, playing through injury because the playoffs matter. All these games count, and every team wants to move on to the Eastern Conference Finals or the Western Conference Finals, whatever conference you're playing in, that's your goal, to the eventual goal of getting to the NBA Finals. So that's what the Knicks want to do right now. That's why everybody's stepping up. That's why it's next man up mentality. And that's why you got to believe in this Knicks team. Haliburton, it's clear by the numbers that we just gave you, by the eye test, by everything you want to quantify for his play, he's just not the same player. And if he's not the same player, And if he can't come alive during this series against the Knicks, the Pacers have no chance. They'll be lucky to win one, and if they do, it'll likely be on the road. If they do that, congratulations to them. You're still getting closed out in 5 when the Knicks head back to MSG. But I have so much faith in this Knicks team, and I believe in them so much. I think they can sweep the Pacers, close it out in 4, even on the Pacers' home court, and then go back to MSG just to rest and wait for their Eastern Conference Finals opponent, whether that be the Boston Celtics or the Cleveland Cavaliers. At this point, it looks like it might be the Celtics, but you never know how the series can change. A little bit of momentum, an injury here, foul trouble there, whatever the case may be, things can always swing. We've seen how the momentum can change. Anything, even the smallest things, can lead to momentum swings. And that's what's fun about the NBA. That's what you love to watch about it. The Knicks and Pacers rivalry has not upset yet. I know it's only been one game, but that one game was highly competitive. It went down to the wire, and I expect to see the exact same thing in Game 2, probably in Game 3. We already know that the NBA is flying in Reggie Miller to be one of the guest announcers for tonight's game against Indiana in MSG, but I don't care. Do what you want. Fly Reggie Miller out. Fly that entire Indiana Pacers team from the 90s out. I don't care. Give them a front row seat. It won't bother me. The Knicks and Jalen Brunson are going to come out of the gate storming, smoking Indiana, and never looking back. You wasted a trip, Reggie. You're going to be calling a blowout. That's what you're about to see. The Knicks are not only going to take down Indiana, they're going to embarrass them again, and we're going to prove once again why Jalen Brunson will always be greater and will always be the better point guard over Tyrese Haliburton. The conversation doesn't exist anymore. Jalen Brunson is in a class and a tier all by himself, maybe with a few exceptions. But Tyrese Haliburton, he is nowhere close to Brunson, nowhere close to his level, and nowhere close to his tier. We have to stop talking about it like that and saying stuff like that. Until Haliburton has a big postseason game consistently and consecutively, I don't want to hear it. Haliburton has nothing on Brunson. It's Brunson all day. Bruns him, like I said before, and JB's going to lead us to another victory tonight against Indiana. Mark my words on that. But what about you guys? What do you think about the Indiana Pacers head coach and Rick Carlisle basically stating that Tyrese Haliburton has an extremely concerning back injury? Let me know in the comments below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below. And of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans. Peace.